There are moments when you meet someone, and time stops, words disappear, the world fades, and you recognize something you can't explain, not with logic, not with science, but with a deep, primal knowing, as if your soul leans forward and whispers, "There you are," and yet, just as quickly as they arrive, they vanish, ghosted, pulled away, lost in the fog of timing, fear, or fate. You wonder, was it real? Did I imagine it? Was it just another illusion? What if I told you that the pain you feel isn't because the love was false, but because the alignment wasn't ready? Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. You weren't imagining it. You weren't crazy. When two souls meet in truth, something sacred ignites." But the tragedy isn't that they felt it too briefly. It's that one or both weren't yet whole enough to hold. This is the paradox of soul connection. It can wake you up or burn you down. It can be the beginning of your liberation or the echo of your deepest wound. And until you understand the alchemy of this kind of love, you will confuse intensity with destiny, longing with alignment, chemistry with compatibility. This story is not about him or her. It's about you, about your energy, your wholeness, your readiness. Because the soul connection you are longing for isn't found, it's remembered. And the moment you remember who you truly are, you become magnetic to the one who remembers you too. But first, we must name the pain, the ache of missed chances, the grief of almost lovers, the weight of meeting someone whose soul fit yours like a key, but whose wounds clashed like swords. You thought love would be enough. You thought the feeling meant it was meant to be. But energy does not lie. And when two incomplete energies collide, the reaction is chaos. So many women carry this ache, the ache of sacred connections that didn't last, the ache of men who saw their light, touched their soul, then disappeared into silence. But what if that wasn't abandonment? What if it was initiation? Because sometimes the soul sends you a mirror, not to stay, but to wake the part of you still asleep, still performing, still pretending to be small. And once awakened, you can never go back. You become different. Quieter, deeper, less interested in games, more attuned to truth. You stop craving validation and start seeking resonance. Because when your energy aligns with your soul, something shifts. You no longer chase. You remember who you are. And from that remembering, a different kind of love becomes possible. One that doesn't pull or punish. One that doesn't trigger your abandonment wound or your need to fix. One that simply fits because it meets you at the level of your healed self. But that kind of alignment requires death. The death of fantasy, of timelines, of codependency disguised as fate. It requires that you let go of who you thought your soulmate would be and trust the deeper pull of who your soul is becoming. So many women ask, how will I know when it's him? How will I know if it's real? And the answer is always the same. When your energy is clear, the real ones feel like peace, not fire, not confusion. Peace. You don't chase alignment, you embody it. You don't force timing, you trust it. And the ones meant to walk with you in truth, they rise to meet you. But until then, you will be tested again and again with men who almost see you, almost love you, almost choose you, until you choose yourself fully enough that almost no longer seduces you. Soon we will explore the signs of soul alignment, what it truly means, what it demands, and what it heals. But first, let us sit with the ache, because only by honoring the grief of what wasn't can we open to the grace of what could be. Now that we've touched the ache, let's talk about alignment, because the truth is, not every connection is meant to last. Some are meant to awaken, to burn away the illusions, to mirror the fractures you've hidden under performance and perfection. These are sacred contracts, and they're never wasted, but the deeper magic begins when you stop chasing connection and start becoming alignment. Because energy doesn't lie. You can't fake wholeness. You can't seduce what you're not ready to hold. Soul alignment is not just about who you meet. It's about who you are when you meet them. It's the resonance that arises when two beings have done enough healing to recognize each other beyond their patterns. It's less about butterflies and more about silence, less about sparks and more about safety. It feels like coming home. But that home is not built overnight. It is built in the quiet hours, the lonely nights, the moments where you chose growth over comfort, truth over attention, solitude over settling. That's the work. The invisible, unsexy, sacred work that clears your field so that your soul match can actually find you. Too often, we confuse craving with calling. We think the intensity means it's meant to be, but intensity without integrity is trauma reenactment. Alignment without embodiment is fantasy, and love without truth is performance. So how do you know when it's real? Real alignment doesn't rush. It doesn't try to possess. It flows. It breathes. It honors the timing of the soul, not the urgency of the wound. It makes space for your wholeness, and it inspires you to become more of who you really are, not less. It doesn't need to be earned. It doesn't make you feel small. It doesn't pull you out of your body. In fact, it brings you back into it. You feel safer in your skin, calmer in your heart, and more honest in your speech. The man who is aligned with your soul won't need you to dim, to chase, to guess. He will meet you fully, not perfectly, but presently, and he won't run from your depth. He will anchor into it, because it mirrors his own. But here's the paradox. You must be willing to be alone to meet him, not just physically, but energetically. You must be whole enough to walk away from anything that disrupts your peace, and that means letting go of potential, of fantasy, of the version of love you were sold by unhealed parents and fairy tales, because soul-aligned love is not loud. It is deep. It is not chaotic. It is clear. And you can only recognize it when your nervous system has learned that safety is not boring. That ease is not lack of passion. That peace is not the absence of love. It's the presence of truth. This is the re-education of your heart, the remembrance of your soul, the shift from "does he love me" to "is this love true?" And when your energy carries that frequency, you stop needing to prove, to perform, to possess. You start attracting from clarity, not craving, from fullness, not fear, from truth, not trauma. And the one who meets you there, you will not need to ask if it's him, because your soul will not beg for what it already recognizes. True soul alignment isn't something you chase, it's something you become, because here is the secret no one teaches you. When the energy of two souls truly aligns, no force in the universe can keep them apart. Not distance, not time, not past, wounds or missed chances. But that kind of alignment isn't passive, it is sacred, and it is earned through the fire of your own becoming. It begins when you stop waiting, when you stop projecting your future onto someone else's potential, when you stop asking the universe to bring you the one, and start asking your soul to make you the one who no longer needs to be rescued, the one who no longer settles for chemistry without commitment, the one who holds space for real love because she has become love itself. The aligned union is not just emotional, it is energetic, it is a frequency, and you cannot fake it, you cannot perform your way into it. You must vibrate at the level of what you want to receive. That means becoming deeply honest, ruthlessly discerning, softly powerful. You begin to say no more clearly, no to crumbs, no to confusion, no to connection without consistency. You begin to say yes more fully, yes to solitude, yes to to standards. Yes to a love that feels like truth, not trauma. And then something changes. Men who used to excite you now exhaust you. Patterns you used to justify now feel unbearable. Your body becomes your oracle. Your silence becomes your boundary. Your longing becomes your compass. You stop performing and start listening, not to the noise of the world, but to the whisper of your soul. This is when soul alignment becomes visible. It looks like synchronicity, like signs, like someone crossing your path and feeling instantly familiar. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it grows slowly. But it always feels like truth. You recognize each other, not by how much you want them, but by how deeply you can rest. You don't lose yourself in their presence. You find yourself more clearly. You're not afraid to be seen. You're not afraid to be alone, because whether they stay or go, your energy remains intact. Aligned love doesn't require you to prove, or fix, or twist yourself into a version you think will be accepted. It invites you to be the most honest, radiant, untamed version of yourself. And if they can't hold that, it's not your person. You learn to release with grace, to love without possession, to desire without desperation. You no longer cling to timing. You surrender to truth. You no longer fear endings. You trust redirection. You stop asking, why did he leave? And start asking, what was he here to show me? You stop believing in missed opportunities and start believing in divine detours. You stop grieving illusions and start honoring revelations. Because when you live in alignment, every ending serves you, every heartbreak shapes you, every silence teaches you to hear your own voice more clearly. You begin to see that you are not here to be chosen. You are here to be remembered. And the man who aligns with your soul will not find you through force, but through frequency. Not through pursuit, but through presence. You will know it is him not because he says the right things, but because your nervous system relaxes in his presence, because your laughter flows more freely, because you don't have to shrink, edit, or hide. He sees you not just with his eyes, but with his energy. He honors your no as deeply as your yes. He stays when it's hard, not just when it's convenient, and he loves you with a steadiness that feels like prayer. This is not fantasy. This is not fairy tale. This is embodiment, real love, sacred union. And it begins with you, because the moment you become soul-aligned, you no longer settle for energetic distortion. You no longer confuse chaos with chemistry. You no longer attach your worth to someone else's desire. You stand, you shine, you speak. And the man who is aligned with your energy will rise, not because you begged him to, but because he wants to. Because your clarity calls something ancient awake inside him, something true, something ready. And if he doesn't, you bless it, you release it. You return to your path without bitterness. Because nothing real is ever lost, only returned in divine timing. You begin to redefine love as a practice of freedom, not control. As an honoring, not a performance. As a sacred co-creation between two sovereign souls. And the moment you stop settling for anything less, you shift the entire vibration of your reality. Suddenly, your boundaries are no longer barriers, they are invitations. Invitations for real connection, for conscious partnership, for the type of intimacy that isn't afraid of depth, stillness, or shadow. And you realize something else too. Alignment isn't always easy. Sometimes it asks you to walk away from something almost good. Sometimes it calls you to sit in the fire of your longing with no answers. But even in that fire, you are not abandoned. You are being refined. This is what makes you radiant. Not perfection, not performance, but presence. The presence of a woman who knows she is whole. The presence of a woman who doesn't need to chase, because her being is the invitation. Let your love be this pure. Let your truth be this loud. Let your alignment be this unapologetic. Because when two souls align in truth, it is not just a Relationship, it is a revolution, a remembering, a homecoming, and it doesn't stop there. Soul alignment doesn't mean there will be no conflict. It means conflict becomes conscious. It means rupture becomes repair. It means truth is allowed to exist between two hearts without fear of loss. Because what holds the bond is not fear, but reverence. You begin to experience love as ceremony, as devotion, as a path that includes both light and shadow. And the more you walk it, the more you realize the real magic is not in being loved. It is in being known, truly, radically, repeatedly, and that knowing begins with you. When you know yourself deeply enough to recognize your patterns, your projections, your true desires, then and only then can you offer something true to another. Then and only then can you receive something real in return. This is soul work, and it changes everything. You are not hard to love. You are hard to manipulate. You are not too much. You are too true. And the man who sees this doesn't flinch. He bows. He rises. He meets you there. So do not settle for less. Do not confuse emotional hunger for soul recognition. Do not silence your body to maintain a connection your soul already outgrew. The aligned man will not come to complete you. He will come to complement your fullness, to witness your depth, to walk beside you, not ahead or behind. Together, you will not escape the world. You will face it more bravely, more clearly, more open. Because two aligned souls don't just love each other. They free each other. So I ask you now, what part of you is still waiting to be chosen? What version of love are you still performing to receive? Speak it in the comments. Let it rise. Let it be seen. And if this journey woke something inside you, this channel is your sacred space. Subscribe. Return to your path. Remember your power, because when your soul aligns with its truth, love follows, always.